In MCQ 25, we'll take a look at the function of insulin and glucagon, but let's start off first with a quick summary. Insulin as well as glucagon are considered to be hormones which are very potent chemical messengers, so therefore their production has to be regulated, and since they are produced by endocrine gland which are ductless, any excess production could not have been stored but has to be poured directly into the bloodstream. So the stimulus for insulin production is when there is a much higher blood glucose level as compared to physiological level, but for glucagon is when there is a much lower blood glucose level. Now each of the relevant stimulus will be stimulating the endocrine gland. For both of them, it will be the pancreas, particularly the isolates of Langerhans, which is the endocrine portion of the pancreas. The exocrine portion of the pancreas is responsible for the production of pancreatic juices that aids in the digestion at the duodenum. Now to be more specific, it is the beta cells in the isolates of Langerhans that secretes insulin, but the alpha cells that secretes glucagon. Once secreted into the bloodstream, they will travel to the target organ. The first target organ is the liver, whereby insulin will cause excess glucose to be converted to glycogen. For the act of glucagon is the opposite. It actually converts glycogen to glucose. Now glucagon also causes this process known as gluconeogenesis, which is the synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. But insulin itself can also work at the muscle. And what it does is that it increases the permeability of muscles to glucose, so that the muscles can have a greater uptake of glucose, which is going to prove beneficial if muscles is used again for exercise. And since glucose is already localized in the muscle, it can actually undergo aerobic respiration much more effectively. Now the eventual process here is to have what we call as an opposite change to the initial change. Now the initial change is actually the stimulus here. And for that, what insulin has done is that it will lower your blood glucose, and for glucagon, it will increase the blood glucose back to its physiological level. And this leads to what we call as negative feedback. So once negative feedback has been achieved, two very important mechanisms actually kicks in to prevent the body from overcorrecting. Firstly, all the existing hormone is destroyed at liver and excreted at kidney. As well as communication is done towards the endocrine gland to actually shut down production of hormones. So with this very lengthy summary, let's come back to this question. So how does glucagon and insulin help for the regulation? Now glucagon at first definitely is to increase your glucose level, and insulin on the other hand, because of the conversion done by the liver in the presence of insulin for excess glucose to be stored as glycogen. I will say that C is the answer, as insulin try to raise the glycogen level.